All right, let's dive right into our explainer on Lecture 18, the architecture of file management. Now, I know what you're thinking. File management sounds like a super mundane chore, right? Something we literally all try to avoid. But if we just shift our perspective for a second, it's actually the grand architecture of our entire digital world. Think of it like this. Every single file is a brick. Every folder is a room. And how we manage all of that completely dictates the integrity of the whole structure. Here's the agenda for today's explainer. We've got 5 sections to get through. First up, the file management architecture, followed by the 4 main pillars of action: creating your files, renaming files, moving your files, and finally, deleting files. So let's kick things off by defining what we actually mean by managing files and folders based on the source material. It really boils down to just 4 fundamental actions: creating, renaming, moving, and deleting. It's absolutely crucial to view this not just as, basic digital housekeeping. It's really the strict structural control you have to wield to keep your digital environment from just totally devolving into absolute chaos.
Lecture 18 actually strips this whole process down to those 4 essential actions: create, rename, move, and delete. And if you look at them sequentially, they basically map out this complete, almost biological life cycle of a digital file, literally from the exact moment of its inception all the way to its eventual destruction.
Moving right into Section 2, creating your files, the inception.
Creating is that absolutely foundational act of bringing a brand new file into existence. It makes sense, right? Without this initial spark, without intentionally laying down that very first brick, well, there's obviously no architecture to speak of at all. This is essentially ground zero for your digital building.
Next up is Section 3, renaming files, the evolution.
Now, renaming is all about adapting a file's identity over time. Come on, we've all been guilty of saving files with names like untitled_1 or, final_v3_ really final, I promise. We've all been there. But as your projects actually grow, renaming is the absolute crucial mechanism we use to keep a file's true purpose crystal clear within that broader taxonomy. It's exactly how a file evolves, so it fits perfectly into an expanding organizational structure.
Which brings us to Section 4, moving your files, the navigation.
This right here brings up a really critical distinction: identity versus location. See, renaming changes what a file is called, but moving changes where it lives. You could literally have the absolute perfect name for a file, but if it's sitting in the totally wrong room of your digital house, the whole architecture just fails. Moving is how we navigate and actually properly place our files, so, we can actually find them when we desperately need them.
But let's pause and consider this scenario for just a second. What happens when the architecture gets way too crowded? When you've got way too many files, a million folders, and the sheer physical weight of that structure literally starts to collapse in on itself.
That leads us right into Section 5, deleting files. The end.
Deletion is that final, absolutely necessary act to maintain your structural integrity. It's not just about mindlessly throwing stuff in the trash. Actually, it's the critical step that stops your workspace from turning into this chaotic digital horde. Think of it like pruning the dead branches on a tree, just so the rest of it can actually thrive. So let's pull all of this together with a really quick Lecture 18 recap. The 4 core mechanics we've explored today are create, rename, move, and delete. And honestly, by mastering just these 4 simple, foundational actions, you hold the absolute keys to maintaining a pristine, highly functional digital ecosystem.
Which leads me to leave you with this final, super vital question to think about. How strong is the foundation of your own file management architecture? Really, take a look at your desktop right now. Go look at your downloads folder. Are you actually managing the life cycle of your files effectively? Do you know exactly when to create, when to move, and maybe even more importantly, when to delete? Take these 4 pillars from Lecture 18 and use them to build yourself a much clearer, stronger workspace starting today.